I definitely had quite an eventful upbringing, but my favorite childhood memory would have to be the story of how I got my parents to name my sister Ice Cream. I know, it sounds ridiculous, but trust me, I can explain. When I was 3 years old in the beginning of May of 2000, my mom was due to have my first sibling, a little sister. I wasn't as excited about the fact that I would be having to share attention with a new baby, but more excited that my grandparents would be coming into town to stay with me. They always loved to spoil me to death, and whatever my parents didn't allow me to do, they were a little bit more lenient on. Needless to say, their visits were much appreciated. The morning of May 3rd, my parents rushed off to the hospital, and me and my grandparents stayed back at the house to wait until the baby had been delivered. My grandpa and I watched TV while my grandma, who was an expert baker, made a cake to celebrate the new baby in the family. After an early slice of cake for me, it was off to the hospital. On the way there, I noticed the familiar sign of the golden arches of McDonald's. Even though I was only 3, I was still very devious and concocted a plan immediately. I spoke up from my car seat in the back and said, "Grandpa, whenever we pass this McDonald's, my dad always stops to get me an ice cream cone." They looked at each other and just shrugged, deciding that if my dad always got it for me, then they didn't want to deny it to me. I was over the moon happy. It wasn't until we got to the hospital that my dad explained to them that I had lied, and that in fact I had never even been to that McDonald's before in my life. In my sugar rush, I begged for my parents to name my new sister Ice Cream. They eventually went with the name Claire, but decided I could still call her Ice Cream as a nickname. It was consolation enough that the hospital had a tradition of giving new big brothers none other than Yes, an ice cream cone. This is one of my all-time favorite stories and one that gets told every time my extended family gets together, and to this day I still sometimes call my sister Ice Cream as a joke.